My name is Holly Michelson, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Del Mar, New York, just outside of Albany. I'm really excited that you're here with me today. Whether you're visiting for the first time or you're returning, I hope you'll think that today I have a really adorable project. I'm going to show you how to take a standard stamp set and turn it into a Valentine. So this Turtle Friends stamp set is not intended necessarily for Valentines, but I think it has great bones that it's going to make a perfect Valentine today. Now, before I go ahead and get started, I just want to invite you to subscribe to my channel. If you're not already a subscriber, I invite you to join. Please click on the red subscribe button. And if you'd like to be notified each time I upload a new video, be sure to click on the notifications bell. YouTube will notify you each time I have a new video. Now, let's go ahead and get started. This is pretty similar to what we're going to make today. This was my mock-up before the video. I am going to vary some of the elements in the card that we make on camera. That way you'll have a couple of different ideas and options, and you can see that products can be substituted and still get a really great look. So the main thing that we're going to need today is the Turtle Friends stamp set. And we're also going to need the coordinating turtle punch. And I also used one of the heart punches from the heart punch pack. These actually come in a package of 2 punches. You get them both in the same pack. We're just going to use the straight edged one today, not the wavy edged one. We're going to use the hammered metal 3D embossing folder. Even though it's called hammered metal, I really feel like it creates a great pattern that mimics a turtle shell. So I think this will be adorable. I'm gonna bring in 1 stamp from the brand new Sweet Conversations set. This set will be released on January 4th, 2022, but I'm gonna bring it in just to use the Happy Valentine's Day stamp on the inside of my card, and watch for future videos. I'll be making some other great cards featuring this set as the focal point. But I just couldn't sleep last night thinking about this turtle Valentine card, so I had to make that first. Even though I have this gorgeous new Sweet Conversations set, and I can't wait to play with it, I have to make this Turtle Friends card. It's just floating around in my brain. And then I also brought in the Pretty Pillow Box dies, not because I'm making a pillow box, but because I wanted to borrow the sentiment label from this die set. Now, if you don't have this die set, you can absolutely substitute something like a Pick-a-Punch. There are 3 different Pick-a-Punches. This one's the Banner Pick-a-Punch. You could substitute this. And then there are 2 other ones. Any of those would work, or plenty of other sentiment labels that you have in your stash. Or you could even just cut a simple rectangle to stamp your sentiment down here. So don't fret if you don't have the Pretty Pillow Box dies, although I do have to say they're fantastic. I've used them in at least 2 other videos, and I made lots of pillow boxes in 2021. So I do think it's a great item to put on your wish list, but you don't need to buy it just to make this card. Okay, and also in terms of ribbon, on this one, I used the Snowflake Splendor ribbon. This was just recently on the clearance rack. I believe it is now sold out, but never fret. There's also this gorgeous glittered organdy ribbon. And this would be lovely also on the card. That same iridescent sheer look to it. This is current and available. And on the card I'm going to make today, I'm actually making this one's for my niece. And sometimes she watches my videos, so I hope she doesn't see this video before I get to give this to her for Valentine's Day. And I'm also going to make one for my nephew. And so the one we're going to make today is for my nephew. And since I'm doing that, I'm going to bring in some Bermuda Bay ribbon. This is some retired Bermuda Bay stitched ribbon. And you can see I am so close to the end of the spool that I am eager to finish this one off. And so look in your stash and see what coordinating ribbon you have. Now for the designer series paper today, I pulled this heart designer series paper from a pack called Pattern Party. And Pattern Party is actually a huge set of designer series paper. You get 48 12 by 12 sheets. Yes, 12 by 12 sheets. You get 48 of them, and it is available only to party hostesses. So party hostesses are people who either make a single purchase of $150 or more, or they involve other people in making purchases. They host a workshop, and collectively all of the orders together are at least $150. And if you are a party hostess, you're eligible to use your Stampin' rewards for this awesome paper. And I've used it in quite a few of my videos. There's just so much paper, there's just so much to go around. Now today I pulled it back out specifically because of the hearts. Obviously, when you're taking a turtle stamp set and you want to convert it into a Valentine, you need a little support for that. And so I wanted some heart paper. I don't have Pattern Party. There's also, I'll give you a sneak peek here, a brand new set of Valentine paper coming out in the new mini catalog that starts on January 4th. This is called Sweet Talk, and there is a lot of gorgeous heart paper in here. This would be perfect to go with the turtle. That'd be adorable. Really a lot of cute stuff that you could use. I liked that first one too. This would be adorable. That you could use this pack of paper coming in the new catalog for your background as well. I have many Happy Valentine's Day stamps. I have them in past retired sets, and I think I get one each year in my January paper pumpkin. So I'm sure you have a Happy Valentine's Day stamp too. Okay, to start off, we are going to need to make our card base. Now, card base comes from an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, and I simply sliced it in half at 4 1/4. So this is 1/2 of an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, cut at 4 1/4. And I'm going to need to come in and make 2 score lines. I need to make the standard score line that's going to allow me to fold the card in half, and I'm going to need an additional score line here so that I can make my bookbinder fold. I didn't mention it already, but this fold is called a bookbinder fold. And the measurements that I used for the sample are slightly different than what I'm going to do here on the video, but there'll be a tutorial that you can download from the description, and I will have the measurements for both cards in there. All right, so our goal here is to score. So I'm just going to line this up at the 5.5 inch mark and then run my scoring blade over that. And then I'm going to shift it over to 4 1/4. So I'm basically moving it over 1 1/4 inches, and I'm going to score it again. And that's what's going to make my bookbinder fold. So go ahead and finger fold the card base at the 5.5 inch mark. And give it a good burnish with your bone folder. And then I'm going to fold this piece back in the opposite direction. So here I made a mountain fold. Over here I'm going to make a valley fold. And this is a valley fold. So the valley, the mountain. So I'm going to go ahead and fold this back and give it a really good burnish. And this is the thick basic white cardstock. So whenever I'm using basic white for my card base, I use the thick. And when I'm using basic white for things like my sentiment or the turtle, I'm using the standard basic white. We're also going to need a few other pieces of paper. We're going to need some scraps to make our heart. We need a piece of DSP. This is 4 by 4. So it's a perfect square, and that's going to fit nicely there. I pre-cut my sentiment label using the die from Pretty Pillow Box. Then we're going to need a strip of cardstock that will fit on the binder side. And so this measures 1 by 4 inches, and it's going to nestle nicely right there. So you can see this is a piece of solid cardstock, and I'm actually going to run it through the hammered metal embossing folder so that I can create some texture. But I also want to do the same thing with my heart. So before I go over to the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, I'm going to quickly cut out a heart using my heart punch. And I'm just reversing the paper. So by putting the top near the bottom and the bottom near the top, I can better fit 2 hearts. They just fit a little bit better in that scrap of paper when you reverse them, just because the heart is so wide at the top and narrow at the bottom. So I can easily get 2 hearts out of that one scrap. And now I'm going to take both of these over to my cut and emboss machine. Okay, so you can see that I put both pieces of paper in and ran them through on one pass. Sorry about that, but my machine is on a table that is not on camera. And I'm going to put some Stampin' Seal here on the back. And then I'm just going to go ahead and visually align that so that it's centered within my bookbinding area. Give that a good press. Now I wanted to put that down first because in the next step I'm going to be attaching the ribbon, and so it's easier if you have your paper down first. Again, I'm using some Bermuda Bay ribbon. The purpose of this is that it coordinates with the designer series paper. It may make the card feel a little bit more masculine too by having blue ribbon on it. Again, I'm giving this to my nephew, so I want it to feel like it's meant for a boy. I'm going to use Tombow mono adhesive glue. I like to use this on my bookbinder cards because I think it gives them a really strong adhesion so that they stay closed. I don't want this to pop back open later on. I want it to stay permanently glued shut. I'm going to need at least 4 1/4 inches of ribbon, but I want some extra to tuck over on both edges. So I'm probably going to go with 6 1/2 inches right there. And I'm just going to bring that around the front. And we're going to glue it right into the inside so that stays. Okay, press that down. Not only is this glued down, but our ribbon is also secured. And then I'm just going to bring in another small piece of ribbon so that I can tie a little knot here. So I don't know, what's that, maybe about like 3 inches of ribbon there. I'm going to snip that off, and then I'm just going to make a little knot here. It's a little longer than what I need, so now I can trim it off to the length that I like. Now let's go ahead and attach our designer series paper. A little bit more Stampin' Seal there, and I'm going to go ahead and not only make sure that I'm centering it within the white square, but also trying to align the top and the bottom with the green edge. My card base is not perfect. I scored it a little crooked, and so my card is not perfect. For the sake of the video, I'm going to press on, and I have my heart We need to stamp our turtle too, though. So let's set this aside for just a moment. We're going to go ahead and stamp our turtle, and we're also going to stamp our sentiment. So I have the turtle stamp, and I'm using Granny Apple Green for my turtle, and that is the color green that is in this DSP. This paper is all, the cardstock is also Granny Apple Green, and I'm going to go ahead and stamp my turtle. There we go. And then I need to go ahead and stamp the shell as well. So make sure you get good ink coverage on your stamp. You can see right through the photopolymer to know if you do or not. And then you're just going to line up the turtle shell with the first stamp and give that a good press. I like to leave stamps like this that need to be really solid. I like to leave them for maybe 20-30 seconds and give the ink some time to transfer. Perfect, got a perfect impression. I'm really happy with that. Let's go ahead and also stamp our sentiment. This is a brand new Bermuda Bay ink pad. I literally just took the plastic off it. So it's a little tight, was having some trouble getting that open there. And I have the sentiment that says, "You are turtly loved." Let's go ahead and just, I'm going to line the label up with one of the lines on my grid paper so that my label is relatively straight. And then I'm just going to visually eyeball the center left and right, top and bottom, and give that a nice press. And there we go, you're turtly loved. That cracks me up every time I say that. So this is the Happy Valentine's Day stamp that I got out of the Sweet Conversations. And because the card base is white, I didn't need to add an inside panel. But you'll notice that on this one, when I had the Green Apple Green, I did put a white panel inside the card so that you could see the sentiment better. And here in the Turtle Friends stamp set, there's a few little hearts. So that's perfect for our Valentine. I'm going to go ahead and add some hearts. I'm going to do those in the Granny Apple Green since turtles are green. So I'm going to grab that, put a few there. Decided I want to make a little heart border here. Really jazz up that white inside of the card. I never know what I'm going to do. I just am moved and inspired, and that's what I end up doing. I'm just going to go ahead and pause here to clean off my stamps. I'm using my Simply Chamois cloth, which is a great way to clean your stamps. No chemicals needed at all, and I don't have to get up and run to the sink. I am a super fan of this chamois. And if I'm fessing up, this is my camera one, so it's relatively clean. This is my not camera one. This is the one that I use all the time, and it is not clean at all. Okay, so this is coming together nicely. We need to punch out our turtle, however. So I'm going to go ahead and take my turtle punch and line it up with the turtle. You want to check that you've got both feet lined up and the tail and the head. And when you're pretty good, you're just going to go ahead and give it a punch. There we go. Right? And I want to color him in a little bit. Now you can see on this one, it's for a girl, so I made the turtle's toenails red. I actually really like that. I feel like the shape of the toenails, I don't know if you can see this, but I feel like the shape of the toenails almost looks like the top of hearts. So it's like I painted the turtle's toenails and their little hearts. And even though I'm gonna give this to a boy, I'm gonna do the same thing again because I just really like that look of the hearts. I am using my Poppy Parade Stampin' Blend, and I'm just using the detailed side to add that little bit of red to paint the toenails. And then the turtle itself is, you know, it just gives you an outline and then you can stamp in the shell, but that leaves us with a white turtle. And I don't really want a white turtle, so I'm gonna go ahead and take my Granny Apple Green watercolor pencil. That comes from the Watercolor Pencils Assortment #2. This was the add-on set that came out, I think in 2018 maybe, when the new color revamp happen. And I'm just going to go ahead and scribble in some color. Remember, these are watercolor pencils, so I'm going to be able to go over this and blend it a little bit. But I'm just kind of coloring in my turtle. What do you think? Should we give our turtles names? We'll call this one Myrtle. And how about we call this one Hortense? I don't know, just making up turtle names. Myrtle and Hortense, that sounds good. Sound definitely like turtle names to me. And now I'm going to come back in with my blender pen, and I'm going to use my blender pen to just smooth out the watercolor pencil. So this just kind of gives it more of a watercolored look. Being careful to stay away from that red Stampin' Blend toenail area. Don't want to smear that. So I think my turtle looks really cute. I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, so let's go ahead and then finish assembling. I'm going to put down the heart with the Stampin' Seal. I'm just going to put that down on an angle. Notice I'm staying kind of closer to the top though. I want to make sure I have room for my sentiment at the bottom. And what's nice about attaching the sentiment is I can use the hearts as a guidepost. I can use them to create a straight line and make sure I have that on there nicely. And then we're going to add the turtle. So for the turtle, I'm going to bring in some dimensionals and we're going to pop up Hortense. And his head's kind of small, so I'm just going to snip off a little piece of the edge and use that on the head there. And then just decide where we want our turtle. I think that looks cute. And now I'm finished. So this was a really quick and easy card, but it gave us a great opportunity to see the Bookbinder Fold and how easy that is to do. We got to learn about the Turtle Friends stamp set and think about a clever way to take a stamp set that in no way was meant for Valentine's Day and yet turn it into a really adorable Valentine. So I hope you like this idea. Go ahead and leave me a comment down below and let me know which is your favorite. Do you like the Granny Apple Green version for Myrtle, or do you like the basic white version for Hortense? I'd love to know which one's your favorite. And I think I'm going to try to do a series of these videos. I have a few thoughts about a couple of other non-Valentine stamp sets that I think would make some really adorable Valentines. And so I'm thinking about making those videos. Let me know if that's something that you're interested in. And of course, I will be back with a Valentine video featuring this gorgeous Sweet Conversation suite. There's no way I'm going to miss out on doing that. But I've got lots of Valentine ideas brewing, and I'm excited to share them with you. if you're interested in any of these products, whether it's the stamp sets, the punches, embossing folder, the watercolor pencils, the Stampin' Blends, or the blender pen, I would be more than happy to help you purchase those products. Go down into the description and find a link to my online store. If you don't already have a demonstrator, I'd love to be your demonstrator. Thanks so much for joining me. I appreciate your time. Look forward to crafting with you again. Until the next time. Bye.